Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace, my go-to for building a website and online shop. Hello everyone, I'm back with another anatomy exercise from the same book I mentioned in my previous video, Figure Drawing, Design, and Invention by Michael Hampton. Once again, this is not sponsored. This is the book that we use in class, and I've come to see it as my kind of human anatomy for artists guidebook or handbooks, if you will. And today I want to focus on drawing the head. Yesterday we did a bunch of gesture and figure drawings. Today I want to focus on the head. This book is insanely helpful if you, like me, sometimes struggle with portraying the head with an accurate proportion or accurate angles. This really starts you off from very simple steps and teaches you how to observe the skull underneath the skin. And I guess teaches you kind of like some basic general proportions. Of course, every human looks different, but these are some average proportions. And my favorite part is actually this nose is really nice too, simplifying the nose into this shape. But my favorite part is when they teach you about drawing the head in different angles. So this here, tilting up, tilting down, profile view, just kind of more abnormal views of the head. Anyways, there's so much to cover. I'm not going to be able to go through all of it today, but today I thought we'd start off with just a nice introductory beginning head exercise. So I'm going to be copying some of these pages that I find useful from the book. So if you don't have the book, no need to buy one. I will go over what I found to be useful, what stood out to me. And then after we do the exercises from the book, we are going to copy from a reference photo and try to apply our knowledge on just a quick head block-in. And this is always fun. I just wanted to share this with you real quick before I start. My notes from when I was a student. Hello, you might recognize me from the sci-fi film Prometheus. Sometimes I would leave funny jokes to myself to make this repetitive note-taking more interesting and palatable. But yeah, these are a lot of the notes I had made when drawing the head. Okay, this one, we're moving on to the feet now, but we're going to be doing something similar. We'll copy a few pertinent exercises and then we'll work from a reference model. But yeah, just to give you an idea of what studying anatomy looks like, basically. Just like in my previous video, let's warm up first by copying some pages from the book. This exercise is one of my favorites because it's exactly how I start most of my drawings of heads. First, we draw a light circle to approximate the shape of the top of the head, then a cross/T shape to help locate facial features that we'll for now ignore so we can focus on the bigger picture relationships. But in general, the average human face will see the eyes on the horizontal line, and the vertical line is obviously the line of symmetry down the middle that separates the two sides of the face. For the 3/4 and profile views, we can draw a second smaller circle on the side of the head to place the ears and line up the jaw with the bottom of the chin, with the horizontal axis shared between the smaller circle and the bigger T of the front of the face. Usually, halfway between the eye line and the bottom of the chin is where we can place the nose, but we'll dive into more of that later. What's important to note on the 3/4 and profile views is being able to see that center line of symmetry bend and angle away from us as the forehead becomes the top of the head and disappears over the visual horizon to the back of the head. This shows the turning of the front-facing plane of the face into the top-facing plane of the top of the head. Thinking of the human head as a three-dimensional object is crucial in getting it to look believable and accurate. This simplified view of the head may look basic and plain, but it contains just enough to convey the most important information, such as the angle, shape, and volume of the head. This is a great simplified head to use in your gesture drawings and block-ins to start your drawings before adding in the detail, because you can use just a few marks to accurately size and place the head onto your figure without committing to rendering all the details of the face. Okay, now this next exercise is my favorite because we're essentially building from the previous drawings, adding just enough extra details to give slightly more information about the facial features now. I picked a 3/4 view because it best depicts the three-dimensionality of the head. So we'll start off similarly to before with a circle for the top of the head, a cross/T shape for the middle of the head, and approximate lines of the eyes, which also line up with the circles on the side of the head that contain the ears. And the top of the ear begins at the horizontal axis of the T and ends around the line for the nose, which is about halfway between the eye line and the bottom of the chin. The bottom of the ear is also where the jaw begins and it elegantly curves into the chin. Now, I'm going to talk about some very general measurements for the average human head to keep in mind, but you don't have to follow these perfectly and you don't have to memorize them. Every person has different features and proportions, so this is just kind of a general guideline. But we usually want to find the top of the brow ridge and the bottom of the chin. And halfway between those is where the base of the nose goes. Halfway between the base of the nose and the brow ridge is the bottom of the eye socket. 1/3 of the way between the base of the nose and the bottom of the chin is the line between the top and bottom lips. Again, no need to memorize these. They are just here to help you generally approximate a typical human face. To be honest, I myself rarely use this entire chart of measurements. Once I get the nose and chin relationship generally accurate, the rest kind of falls into place and really depends on each individual person. The most useful thing to note from this exercise is how much the shape of the skull influences the face. The eyes are not just the pupils and irises. Rather, we gotta think about the eyes first as eyeballs that are resting deep inside the sockets of the skull that are covered by skin lids. So you can't draw the eyes without first considering the shape, size, and placement of the eye socket underneath. In fact, if we color in the eye sockets of this simple head block-in, you will see that it very closely resembles a skull. Just like with the gesture drawings, the main point of these exercises is to do them many times and to not aim for perfection or a beautiful drawing, but rather just get the mileage and practice in. So now that our muscles are warmed up, let's try to apply what we practiced to a block-in based on a photo reference. I found this photo on Pinterest, and the model's angular bone structure and deep-set eyes immediately stood out to me because he almost resembles the block-in that I just did. I'm not trying to aim for accuracy or likeness, but rather just try to extract a simplified block-in from a detailed reference photo and learning to observe the bigger picture instead of getting lost in the details. Drawing heads is one of the most difficult subjects an artist can tackle, particularly because there are so many details on the face. And as humans, we tend to observe facial features first, so as artists, we tend to prioritize making the eyes, nose, and lips look as pretty as possible without realizing that the face is just a small component of the entire head. These exercises help us break free of that habit and focus on the bigger picture of the head and skull. Anyways, that about wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed practicing head block-ins with me. I'll definitely dive deeper into head and face block-ins in future videos, so let me know if you enjoy these. Also, if you'd like to see hundreds of hours of exclusive painting tutorials and monthly art rewards, feel free to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/happydartist. And of course, you guessed it, my eternal never-ending sale is still going on in my shop, so if you'd like 20% off your order of prints and originals, just enter the code HOLIDAY at happyd-artist.com. And if you're interested in learning more about how to paint and draw, I have lots of art educational content on my Patreon page, including exclusive video tutorials, step-by-step photo tutorials, live streams, podcasts, and even surprise art gift boxes. All available at patreon.com/happydartist. I'd love to have you join my Patreon family. A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting the art community. Squarespace is the best platform to create a professional website and online shop. Their beautifully designed templates are easy to use for beginners and look great on both desktop and mobile. I've sold my art through Squarespace for almost 10 years, and I can attest to the quality of their online commerce features, whether you want to sell digital or physical items. They also provide useful analytics that help you make the most of your online business. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/happydartist to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist.